Okay, so now, well, I just recorded the other video, but you're probably watching this like a couple months later or something, so it's not like now, just all of a sudden we're going to look at this. For you, it's more like, whoa, it's been so long. Now, this is back. So, but anyway, for me, now we're going to take a look at homework 3. So the first thing that you should look at here is the rubric. So the one thing I want you to notice is that the number of sources you need to have changed. It's gone from 4 to 7, so you need to add 3. Of course, one of those can still be the book or my slides. That's totally fine. So you have one that is the book or my slides. 6 are journal articles. If you need to have a refresher on how to find journal articles, go back and watch the other video. We won't go into that. What I'll do now is show you how your slideshow should look. Okay, so mine is on Stuttering and the Basal ganglia. This is an example that I've put together, but I am going to give you an example of a student's work that got full points. It's the same student that wrote that paper that got full points. And so between this and that, you should have 2 really good templates for what you need to do to get, a really good grade. Okay, so Stuttering in the Basal ganglia, this is my title. Then I've got an explanation of what stuttering is. So it's a disorder of speech fluency, and that means like how well speech is flowing. The source here is Patent 2021. So really quickly, I do want to say, I'm going to go through this and I'm going to talk about all the parts. I'm going to show you all the parts, the things that you need. And the reason why I want to give you also an example of what someone turned in is so you can see like how they're actually presenting the information. So, because I'm not doing the presentation style, I'm just showing you what needs to be there. Okay, anyway, back to this. So I've kind of got like a main bullet point here and then this little bit of extra info. It can range from just a few words to as many as 20% of the spoken words or more. So you've got a large range of what could be stuttering. The second bullet point here, primary characteristics are the first to appear. So I'm taking this from textbook. So we have to cite things as you come across them. Repetition, now I'm going to list the primary characteristics here. So repetition, you're repeating the first speech sound or the first syllable of words. A prolongation is an initial phoneme that's produced for a long duration like that. Or you have a blockage, which is a long period of time before the initial sounds can be produced like that. And then the last bullet point here, secondary characteristics are going to appear later. Primary characteristics appear first, and then these secondary characteristics come on later. Those can be things like muscular tension, especially during things like blockages and prolongations. Like you can actually, visibly see it. Tick-like movements, like long, kind of like that, and also visibly struggling to get the words out. So now we're going to move on to a little bit more targeted. That's just kind of introducing the topic. We're now going to move into some of the targeted research that I've found. And this is probably where you want to add in those extra 3 articles, is not really to explain it well, because if you explained it well in the first paper, you probably, can just translate that to PowerPoint. So you want to pull in some more things for your actual research. So I've got a picture that can help explain this. Explanatory pictures are good. It's not something I've required because not every topic that you're going to have is going to have an explanatory picture, although it's good if you can find one. It'll help you when you're explaining things because you can kind of use what's in the picture to cue yourself about what you want to talk about. And it's just good practice for, going into graduate school and doing presentations like this. So patients who sustain injury to the basal ganglia can develop stuttering, so you can have acquired stuttering. And again, notice that I'm citing the paper that I got that from at the end, just like typical in-text citations. Roughly a quarter of children with normal intelligence who have suffered a brain lesion are stutterers, which is showing that it's not correlated with below average intelligence. These are normal children, but who have suffered a brain lesion. That also means that the brain lesion didn't necessarily impact their IQ, so it's not like a frontal thing that is causing the stutter. It's just it's showing that brain damage can bring about stuttering. There's also correlation between the severity of stutters and the amount of basal ganglia activity that we can see during speech. This is measured using fMRI. We see that there's less blood flow going to the basal ganglia for people that are stutterers than for people that aren't. And then also the basal ganglia, as you guys know from class, are believed to be involved in motor timing processes. So like playing the drums, talking, all these rhyming, all these kinds of things. That's one of the areas that the basal ganglia are involved, among others. So now we're going to look just at the basal ganglia timing. So you can see that I'm getting even more focused here. So we're kind of going like big picture. Now we're going to talk about the basal ganglia. Now we're going to talk specifically about the basal ganglia and timing. You want to kind of replicate this on your own. Parkinson's disease is another disease that affects the basal ganglia, and external timing cues can help people with Parkinson's be a little bit more fluid with their movements. So something like they're trying to walk and they're a little stiff, throwing an umbrella on the floor and they have to step over that can actually improve the fluidity of their movements. So this means that the timing gets a little screwed up and they can actually perform better in that task. Speaking in time with a metronome can alleviate stuttering. So if you're offloading the timing component, you can actually get better, like it can get rid of the stutter. Listening to one's own speech at a different frequency, you're not getting the right feedback because you're hearing your speech at a different frequency. That can alleviate stuttering as well. And speaking with an accent can reduce stuttering. And that might be because speech becomes not automatic. It's not dependent on the basal ganglia as much in that characteristic because you're trying to mimic some other accent. And then lastly, my question, my falsifiable, feasible, testable question that I could actually do if I had unlimited amount of time and money is this timing app. Can people who stutter benefit from a cell phone app that vibrates like a metronome? So it would be like a metronome, only it wouldn't be so obvious to everyone else in the room. It could just go like bzz, bzz, bzz. And if they talked in time with that, they could offload the process from the basal ganglia. It'd be more discreet than an audible click. That's my question. I should have talked about how to actually test that, which would be just have people give a speech with and without this timing app, 2 different speeches. These should be counterbalanced where some people give the speech without first and some people give the speech with first, and then switch. And then the last thing here is my references slide where you can see I have every reference that I've used. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've used 10. You only need 7. But you can, of course, have more than that if you want to. So you'll see one of the things I did is I cited my own slides. I also cited the book. If you do that, you can. It doesn't mean that you can do that and then only have 5 journal articles. You still need to have 6 journal articles, but you can cite the slides and the book if you want. It'll just be like an extra citation when you do that. Okay, so that's what you're going to want to do. And so watch this, watch the other students' work, the one that got a really good grade, and that should be a lot of help in helping you guys make really good homework 3.